She said she loved the layout. The first time we stepped into the apartment, her eyes lit up like I hadn't seen in months. I remember her fingers brushing the edge of the marble kitchen island, her voice soft with excitement. "This feels like home," she whispered. But now, every corner feels poisoned. Every inch tainted by betrayal. It started with a glance. One that lingered too long. I didn't think much of it at the time. People look. People smile. But something about the way she looked back at him, that realtor, made something twist in my gut. We met him through a mutual friend. Professional, charming, the kind of guy who wore confidence like an expensive suit. His name was Eric. He spoke in a smooth, low voice and always seemed to know exactly what to say. He wasn't just selling us a property. He was selling a future. And I bought into it. Both of us did. Or so I thought. The day we signed the papers, he handed us the keys with a grin. "Enjoy the new chapter," he said. "You two make a great couple." He said it like he meant it. Like he wasn't already picturing something else behind those eyes. We moved in 2 weeks later. The first few nights were magical. We drank wine on the balcony, watched the city lights flicker, talked about everything we would build together. But the magic was short-lived. Her mood shifted. She became distant, cold in ways I couldn't explain. I blamed the stress. New place, new routines. It made sense. Until it didn't. One afternoon, I came home early. I had a headache and decided to skip the last client meeting. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. I didn't hear the TV, didn't smell dinner. Her phone was on the counter. That was the first red flag. She never left her phone lying around. Then I heard it. A laugh. Not hers, his. Muffled but unmistakable. My stomach dropped. I moved quietly toward the bedroom. The door was slightly ajar. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want it to be true. But I did. Her hands in his hair. His lips on her neck. On our bed. The same bed we'd chosen together. The one we tested in the showroom like idiots in love. I didn't make a sound. I just stood there. Watching. Something inside me cracked, but I felt nothing. No rage. No sorrow. Just numbness. She didn't notice me at first. He did. His eyes widened, and he froze. She turned and saw me. For a split second, I hoped it was all some insane misunderstanding. But the look on her face wasn't guilt. It was relief. I walked out. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I walked into the hallway and closed the door. My hands were shaking. I sat on the stairs and stared at the floor for what felt like hours. Eventually, she came out. Fully dressed, hair still messy. She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. "Can we talk?" she asked. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. "Talk? About what?" "About how you're screwing the guy who sold us this place." "It wasn't like that," she said. "It just happened." "It just happened," I repeated, voice hollow. "On our bed. In our home." She sat beside me like we were still a team. I didn't plan it. I swear. I was lonely. You've been so distant lately, so consumed with work. I felt invisible. I stared at her. So instead of talking to me, you let him crawl into our life? Into you? She flinched. It wasn't just physical. She stopped herself. You what? I asked. You love him. She didn't answer. And that was all I needed. I spent the night in my car. The next morning, she texted. Then called. Then texted again. I didn't respond. I didn't even read the messages. I drove to my brother's place on the edge of town. Told him everything. He offered me a beer and silence. It was exactly what I needed. The worst part. I still loved her. Even after what she did. Even after watching her betray me in the most brutal way possible, I still wanted to believe it was a mistake. That somehow, we could fix it. But some things don't get fixed. 3 days later, I returned to the apartment. She was gone. Her clothes, her books, her favorite mug all vanished. She left a note. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I just couldn't breathe anymore. I hope one day you'll understand. Understand? Understand what? That she destroyed everything we had because she couldn't breathe. I walked through the rooms like a ghost. The kitchen, where we danced barefoot while cooking pasta. The balcony, where she once told me she wanted kids. The closet where we used to laugh while bumping into each other trying to get ready for work. All of it haunted now. And then I saw it. A single shirt. His shirt. Left behind in the rush. Hanging on the back of the bedroom door like a trophy. I burned it. Not because I wanted revenge. But because I couldn't stand the idea of it touching my life 1 second longer. I started packing that night. Everything that reminded me of her went into boxes. Photos, notes, little souvenirs from vacations gone. The apartment wasn't a home anymore. It was a crime scene. She texted again the next day. Said she was sorry. That she missed me. That she'd made a mistake. I didn't reply. A week passed. Then 2. Then I saw them. In a cafe near the old bookstore she loved. Sitting together. Laughing. He reached for her hand across the table, and she let him. No hesitation. No shame. I felt sick. She had moved on so easily, like we had been nothing more than a trial run. A dress rehearsal for her next act. I wanted to storm in and scream. To flip the table and demand answers. But I didn't. Instead, I walked away. I realized something in that moment, something both painful and liberating. She didn't betray me because I failed. She betrayed me because she was already gone long before he ever touched her. I had been fighting for a version of her that no longer existed. Maybe she changed. Maybe I changed. Maybe both. But I would never beg for love. Not from someone who gave it so freely to someone else. I went home and deleted her number. Then I started writing this. Not to shame her. Not even to warn others, but to remind myself of what happened. So I wouldn't forget. So I wouldn't fall for the same lies again. She didn't just cheat on me. She cheated on us. On the life we built, the trust we shared, the woes we never had to say out loud because we lived them every day. Until she didn't. And I had to find a way to live with that. Even if it meant doing it alone. The hardest part wasn't the betrayal. It was the silence that followed. The days melted together. I'd wake up, stare at the ceiling, and wonder how everything unraveled so fast. I'd catch myself expecting her voice in the next room, the scent of her shampoo in the bathroom, her laugh echoing from the kitchen. But there was only silence. Heavy. Permanent. I went back to work. Smiled when people asked. Yeah, just settling in, I'd say. No one knew. I didn't want them to. My pain was private. Raw. Not something to be shared like gossip. But inside, I was falling apart. Nights were the worst. Lying in that bed, the same one she had desecrated with him, felt like sleeping on broken glass. Every creak of the floorboard reminded me of footsteps that weren't mine. Every flicker of the hallway light, a memory I wanted to erase. I started sleeping on the couch. Then not sleeping at all. One night, I found myself scrolling through old photos. Our vacations. Her birthday. The night we moved in. Smiling faces. Locked fingers. Moments that felt eternal until they weren't. And then I saw it. A picture I hadn't noticed before. From the day we got the keys. She stood beside Eric, our realtor, smiling a little too brightly. His hand rested on the small of her back. I had taken that photo. I remember thinking they looked like old friends. Maybe they were. Maybe they'd already started back then. The thought gutted me. What if everything, the showings, the late-night calls to finalize paperwork, the random meetups to discuss options, was a lie? What if I'd been the third wheel in my own relationship, playing the fool while she built something new under my nose? I couldn't shake it. I couldn't forget the way she looked at him. Like he saw her. Like she saw him. A few weeks passed. I saw her again by accident. Grocery store. She looked surprised but not sorry. Said hi like we were casual acquaintances, not to people who had shared a bed, a life, a future. You look good, she said. I didn't respond. How have you been, she asked. I stared at her. She had no right to ask. No right to stand there like nothing had happened. I'm surviving, I finally said. Thanks to the silence. She blinked. The silence. Yeah, I said. It tells the truth you never could. She bit her lip. I didn't come here to fight. I'm not fighting, I said. Just living. Without lies. She nodded, looked down. I just want you to know. I didn't mean to fall for him. It just happened. I laughed bitterly. You said that before. I know, she whispered. But it's true. I never planned to hurt you. But you did anyway. I know. I walked away. She didn't follow. Back home, I poured myself a drink. Looked around the apartment, now stripped of her. It was cleaner, colder, but honest. That night, I made a decision. I wouldn't stay in a space built on betrayal. So I put the apartment up for sale. Different agent this time. Older woman. No charm, no games. Just business. I told her I wanted it gone. Fast. I didn't care about profit. I just wanted to breathe again. While she organized viewings, I stayed at my brother's place. Started writing more. Running. Anything to exhaust the mind, to beat back the images that still haunted me. Sometimes I'd dream of her. Not the real her, but the one I loved. The version before the cracks, before the mask slipped. And I'd wake up sweating, heart racing, because even my subconscious didn't know how to let go. Then came the final blow. Eric messaged me. No warning. Just a direct message on social media. Hey, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. But I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I never meant for things to go this way. I didn't plan to fall for her. But I did. And I love her. I know that doesn't change what happened, but I needed to say it. I stared at the message for a long time. I didn't reply. What was there to say? That he won. That he destroyed something sacred and came out smiling? I deleted the message. Then blocked him. That was the last time either of them reached out. The apartment sold within a month. I handed over the keys to a young couple, newly engaged. Their eyes sparkled with the same hope I once had. I wished them luck and walked away without looking back. I found a new place. Smaller. Quieter. Just mine. And for the first time in a long time, I started to feel something like peace. The betrayal didn't vanish. The memory didn't fade. But it stopped owning me. I stopped blaming myself. Stopped asking what I could have done differently. Because the truth is, no amount of love can fix someone who's already halfway out the door. And sometimes, the person you'd take a bullet for is the one holding the gun. I learned that the hard way. But I also learned something else. That healing isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't happen in a single sunrise. It's slow. It's choosing not to text. Not to check their social. Not to chase ghosts in the hallways of your mind. It's learning to sit with the silence and realize it's not empty. It's clean. It's safe. It's yours. Now, months later, I sit on a different couch, in a different space, and I breathe differently. There's no perfume in the sheets. No laughter in the walls. But there's peace. And that's something she could never give me. Because love built on lies is just a house of cards waiting to fall. And when it did, I survived. I'm still here. Still standing. Still building. Not for her. Not for anyone else. But for me. And this time, the foundation is real.